Good to go.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Development Permit Panel meeting of Wednesday, January 14th of 2026. On the panel today, myself, Wayne Craig, General Manager of Planning and Development, Roland Zwag, General Manager, Engineering and Public Works, and Marie Fenwick, Director, Arts, Culture and Heritage. Joining us today to support the panel's consideration of the agenda are our staff from the Development Applications Department, Josh Reese and Edwin Lee. The panel deals with items of form and character, things such as parking, vehicle access, landscaping, lighting, and architecture. The panel does not deal with land use or density, as those are established through the council zoning process. On today's agenda, the order of business will be a presentation by the applicant on each application. There will then be an opportunity for staff to provide comments, opportunity for panel members to ask any questions of staff or the applicant, opportunity for any members of the public who wish to make their views on an application known to address the panel. We will read any public correspondence into the record, followed by panel deliberation. A couple things to note. Items are generally will proceed to council once any prior to conditions associated with the applicant have been addressed, and generally council does not or is unable to hear from members of the public during their deliberation on a development permit, so today is your opportunity should any members of the public wish to make their views known. With that, I'll turn our attention to today's agenda. The first item on the agenda is adoption of the minutes of the Development Permit Panel meeting held on December 10th of 2025. Roland moved, Marie second. All those in favor? Thank you. Those minutes have been adopted. The first item and only item on today's agenda is Development Permit 24-045175. The applicant is DF Architecture, Inc. The property location is 9951, 9991 Blundell Road and 7951 Number 4 Road. The recommendation before the panel is that a development permit be issued which would permit the construction of 14 townhouse units at 9951, 9991 Blundell Road and 7951 Number 4 Road on a site zone medium density townhouses, RTM2, and to vary the provisions of zoning bylaw 8500 to reduce the front and exterior side yard setbacks for building 3 from 6 meters to 4.8 meters and 5.1 meters respectively, and to increase the ratio of residential spaces in a tandem arrangement from 50 to 58%. I'll turn it over to the applicant to introduce themselves, name and address for the record, and share screen and go ahead with your presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Sir Chair and honorable panel members. This is Abhishek Sinha, architect AIBC from DF Architecture. I'm joined by Zubin and Prakul, my colleagues working on this project, and also our landscape architect, Yevin from PMG. So, and also the client side, Cam has joined us. Just share the screen. Okay. So everyone can see the screen?
Yes, you can go ahead and maximize.
We'll go on to the context. The next sheet, please. Yeah, so this is a site which is located at the intersection of Number 4 Road and Blundell Road. And we have townhomes on the west and north of the property. On the east side, across the street, we have a daycare facility and a two-story single family. And similarly, on the south side, we have two-story single family homes. The access to the property is through the existing drive aisles of the townhomes from the north and to the west through the shared access agreement. And the project consists of 14 townhome units, which are spread across 3 buildings, with building 1, which is the westernmost northwest building. Then building 2 is facing number 4 road, and building 3 facing Blundell Road. So we can go to the second sheet. In terms of pedestrian access, the main pedestrian access is through number 4 road with an accessible 1.5 meter pathway, which leads to across the property and also to the outdoor amenity area. Then we also have a secondary pedestrian access from Blundell Road, which connects the pedestrian across to the east side as well. All the units facing Blundell Road and number 4 road, they have a street level direct access with patios, thus activating the street presence and the architecture and landscape surrounding it. And the convertible units, which are the larger units, they are planned on the corner of the building. So rather being side by side, the bigger units are on the corners, which also then adds on to the elevation and massing of the overall building. Next one. So the main unit typology is 3-bedroom, and they are comprised of either 2-car garages or tandem configuration. So since building 3 is facing already a 3-story townhome development, it's mostly tandem with 3-story configuration, and the area ranges between around 1,800 to 1,900 square feet. All the units have their own private patios as required by the zoning bylaw, and they are either covered or semi-covered. The building 2, which is facing number 4 road, is a combination of double car garage units with some flex space, which is facing the street, and one of the bigger 2-story units, which is on the corner. Building 3 also has a tandem configuration in the middle, but the edges have the 2-story configuration and convertible units planned in there. Go to the next. In terms of the elevation and massing treatment, we have used primarily a monochrome palette with shades of beige and white, with the highlights being the gray color, or when it's facing a street, we have used brick in combination. And also we have highlighted the entry points by using brick facade and adding richness and pedestrian scale to the buildings. Also, if you could, and wherever there are exposed edges to the building, we have articulated it through bay windows and by treating with different material and application with board and batten in terms of siding. All the street-facing units, as I mentioned, they have direct access, and the entries are highlighted through brick. And even the ground level has a brick component added to add richness to the scale and facade of the building. And go to the next one. So this the site section shows the 2-story configuration, which is at the corner facing the Blundell Road, as compared to the 3-story, which is facing the 3-story townhomes on the other end. So in terms of massing, we have intentionally lowered the corners, if you can see that, to give that 2-story approach so that it gels well with the landscape and surrounding context. And also the high pitch roof kind of stitches the whole building together. And in terms of material application, we have used board and batten which is more like a modern farmhouse architecture style, and the high pitched roof being basically having the context of some historical Tudor style. So there's a bit of balance there in order between the modern and the older style. So in this image, the northeast and southwest, you can see that the corners have been intentionally lowered so that they basically stitch well with the streetscape of the project. The material palette, again, we have used brick and fiber cement cladding and shades of white, and wherever we have highlighted the entrances and the canopies through the fascias and brickwork. With that, I'll pass it on to our landscape architect, Yuven.
Thank you. Do we have a landscape drawing share?
Yeah, I think it's at the end of the PDF. If you go to the last sheet. Sorry about that.
Thank you. In terms of this project, the landscape, the outdoor amenity area is centrally located and designed as a multifunctional space for the residents. The children's play area is intended for the younger age groups and features play equipment that encourage the social interaction, imaginative play, and balance. Adjacent seating area are provided so parents feel comfortable to look after their kids. The amenity space is fully accessible, while the fence and landscape buffer are proposed around the perimeter. Along the road frontage, layered planting is proposed together with 42 inches high aluminum fence and address columns to enhance the streetscape and provide a clear and welcoming identity of the site. Along the number 4 road, an ALR buffer is provided in the forms of multi-layer vegetation planting area. This buffer is trying to mitigate potential impacts such as noise, dust, and light from the adjacent agricultural use. A mix of deciduous trees and conifer trees together with multiple shrubs providing year-round screening, and native plants has been integrated into this buffer. To protect the privacy of the neighbor residents' property, 1.8 meters high wood fence is provided along the property line, supplemented with trees and planting. Site lighting is proposed along the public pathway within the outdoor amenity area and at unit entrance to enhance the visibility during the nighttime. Perma paver are proposed at visitor parking store, while the decorated paving is introduced at the site entrance and the key intersection to reinforce wayfinding and the enhanced visual interest of the site. Overall, this project providing 26 trees and hundreds of the drought-tolerant plants. Also, the landscape will be fully irrigated to ensure the long-term plant health. That's all for our landscape. Thank you. Let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you. If that concludes your presentation, you can stop sharing screen for now. Josh, any staff comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair, a couple of comments. The proposed development does include 2 convertible units, which are located in the 2-story units that flank either end of Building 3 on the south end of the site. These units have been designed with the potential to be easily renovated to accommodate a future resident in a wheelchair through use of a stair lift. All 14 of the units include aging in place features. As noted by the applicant, the proposed vehicle access does include access through the existing townhouses to both the north and the west. The proposed drive aisle ultimately completes the horseshoe drive aisle pattern that is established in the area. An agreement has been reached amongst the developer and the stratas, the adjacent townhouse stratas, regarding cost sharing for maintenance and reciprocal access throughout the three complexes. The project has been designed to achieve Step Code Level 3 of the BC Energy Step Code and Emission Level 1. Servicing agreement is required as a condition of the associated rezoning and includes frontage beautification along both the Blundell and Number Road frontages, as well as removal of an existing sanitary sewer along the Blundell Road frontage and new service connections. Just jumping back 1 second there where I mentioned that an agreement's been reached amongst all stratas. It has been the two stratas and the current owner of the subject property. That concludes staff comments.
Thanks. Marie, Roland, any questions for the applicant or staff?
Yeah, I have a question about, just interested to hear a little bit more about the landscape plan for the agricultural buffer area. Is there a particular kind of planting that goes in there because it's the agricultural buffer?
Yes, the Richmond have their specific guideline and all the planting list for this kind of ARR buffer. So we are following the guidelines to meet the requirement for this buffer. Like for example, they're asking for some native planting and also some mixed up the trees and the planting to be put into this buffer.
If I may add to that as well, through the chair, so this ALR buffer is provided along the Number 4 road portion of the subject site's frontage. The landscaping within this area does generally follow the Ministry of Agriculture's Guide to Edge Planning as well, too, in terms of appropriate interface with agricultural uses. It also takes into account the intervening road being Number 4 between the ALR designated properties and the subject site.
Thank you.
Yeah, a couple of questions, Mr. Chair. With respect to the landscape buffer, I had a similar question. Just confirming this is going to be maintained by the strata?
Through the chair, yes, this landscaping is located on the subject property and would ultimately be the responsibility for maintenance would lie with the future Strata Corporation. As indicated by the applicant, all landscaped areas are proposed to be irrigated.
Is there like a requirement? So this was a City of Richmond requirement, not an ALC requirement. Is that correct? I'm just wondering, does it need to be reported on every year for the first couple of years, or is it just one and done kind of thing?
So registration of a SRW at the time of rezoning was a condition of the rezoning application that would require both an indemnity to ensure that the property owners are aware of the adjacency to the ALR. Once registered on title, there is no further requirement for either disclosure to the city or others with regards to ongoing notice to be provided.
Okay, and then my other question has to do with lighting. And again, maybe you mentioned it in your landscape drawing. The red symbols, are those the lights? Maybe you can talk a little bit about the height of the light, the type of the light, motion activated on from dusk to dawn. Maybe a little bit of information on lighting would be appreciated. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, the red dots are the lighting. Most of the lighting are bullet lights, and some is lighting like integrate with the unit posts, which like at the entrance of each unit, right? So there's a little lighting integrated with the post. So all the lighting are downward, so it won't be having like any glare lights to the neighbor. There's no tall lights.
So yeah, so the driveway itself will not be lit up then, the drive aisle, just the frontage. It looks like the front entrance and maybe around the amenity space has some some bollards surrounded.
Yes, we don't want to overlight the site.
Okay.
Yeah, just some like lights at the key entrance and public walkway.
Okay, and then my last question, Mr. Chair, has to do with the HVAC systems. Are they going to be individually placed on patios or balconies? Because I noticed some of the balconies will be accessible via staircase. Some are not accessible. I wasn't 100% sure why the distinction was made, but maybe you can elaborate of where some of these HVAC equipment will be located and for noise and other reasons. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, through the chair. So the outdoor units for the AC, they are all individual and they would be located on the patios, and it's shown on the drawings as well.
We are planning to have screening around it so that it won't be totally exposed and visible to the neighbors.
Okay, thank you. No further question.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do have one question, and it relates to the agreements that have potentially been negotiated with respect to use of the adjacent stratas. Do appreciate the efforts being made to reach those agreements. I'm just wondering, have there been an allowance for wayfinding signage for this property as a result of those negotiations? This site's going to end up with a Blundell or number 4 road address and yet be accessed from Kiefer. So I'm just wondering, will there be some wayfinding signage to indicate accesses from those two driveways?
Yes, I mean, on the landscape drawing, we have showing 2 signages at the entrance of the site.
But will those entrances be on the adjacent strata from Kiefer?
Yes, one is from Kiefer, one is from the west. Yeah, from the west entrance.
Okay.
If I may add to that, Mr. Chair, our staff has confirmed that the provisions have been included in the appropriate SRWs and maintenance agreements to allow for signage for this site to be located on those other properties' frontages, directing them to the subject site.
Thank you for that. All right, Rustico, any written correspondence or members of the public who wish to address the panel?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have no correspondence for this application, and there's no one in chambers to delegate on this item.
All right. That brings us to panel deliberation. Maybe I'll kick it off. Just say I do appreciate the efforts of the applicant to work with the adjacent stratas regarding the access conditions. Also appreciate the inclusion of the basic universal housing units in this development. Marie, Roland, anyone willing to move the staff recommendation or any additional comments?
I have no further comments. Thanks for the presentation. I can move the recommendation.
Roland seconded the motion. All those in favor? Thank you. Your project has been endorsed by the panel. It will proceed to council for their consideration once any prior to conditions have been addressed. Josh, any new business?
One item, Mr. Chair. There are no scheduled items for the meeting of the development permit panel to be held on January the 28th. Would be in order to have a motion to cancel that meeting.
Moved by Mr. Zwag, seconded. All those in favor? That meeting has been canceled. Can I have a motion to adjourn? All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.